so striking to see how quickly the river rose. And if you would just go back to what you're talking about with the drought and how that could have made things worse because the ground was like concrete, it wasn't absorbing that water that was rising up.
And again, Pamela, these are all different factors, right? And one, you remove one of the factors, it's still going to happen, right? So even if there was a little bit of rain the day before, this amount of rain to cause this.
Welcome in, ABC Labs.
So
I'm going to give a final update here, guys.
It was so hard.
I'm going to give my final update here. I wish there was better news. Crystal's here. Hello,
really
Crystal.
Thirsty. I'm going to drink a lot, right, and rehydrate. But the earth doesn't work that way. It's been
Christine, how are you?
Clay pot.
I'll see if I'm able to pin the message. We're going to stay live just for about an hour, a little less than an hour. I just want to give my final update on what I know, what I'm hearing. Too beautiful. Hello, too beautiful.
Until it has a chance
And
to eventually soak in and moisten up to get more water into the soil.
Just a confluence of these factors coming together to make this.
All right, so what I have updated here, guys, I'm going to pause this right now. And as far as the politic part, I'm just going to mention a few things. And yes, I'm watching CNN. It's, you know, the meteorologist on CNN is doing a good job. And I want to just say this real quick. This was a storm that was a 100-year storm. Okay, let me get this done real quick. Thank you, Crystal. So I got that. Oh, it worked. Okay, very good, Crystal. Got it in. So I just want to say this was a storm. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. This was a storm. Real quick. Hold on. I got to just check out something on the flip side here. This was a storm that was a summer storm that Texas gets all summer, that they got in 45 minutes. I want everybody to comprehend that because I just did. It took me a little bit. A summer amount of rain, a summer amount of rain that happened in 45 minutes. Hello, P. How are you? What happened? How did this happen? Why did a cloud stop there? Well, I'm going to explain. I'm not a meteorologist, but I've been listening to multiple news outlets, and I have to applaud CNN meteorologists on this and other. They're doing a good job. They're taking blame. Look, guys, think about this. Sometimes it's like a tropical depression. A storm just stopped. You know, you get snowstorms, rainstorms. It just stopped right there in that 100-mile range in Texas at that campsite, Guadalupe Lake and river, It's been a long couple days. And it just stopped. What makes it stop? We just don't know. There's not explanation. It's happened before, storms like this, and it developed this amount of rain. Again, 20 feet of rain, not inches, 20 feet of rain in just 22 minutes. Let's listen in a little bit more, and we're going to discuss exactly what's happening because
right after this short break.
All right, they're on a break. So that's good. I'm glad they're on a break so we can go ahead and talk. All right, now listen. Hello, guys. Welcome in. I've been covering this developing story, and I wanted to come back last live. This will be the last live this evening, and on this story probably. I mean, we might cover it one more time tomorrow. I hope to cover that they found some young ladies. It's so sad. Hard to cover this because there are so many. They just found more bodies. Now it's confirmed 78 to 80 now, depending on what you're watching. If you're just coming in, this was a 100-year storm that happened at this campsite in Texas. And advanced searches now have been kind of paused because the problem is another front's coming in. You see my title, another storm. But this storm that the meteorologists are saying is not as big as the storm that hit on 4th of July morning. Okay. Not as bad. This storm is moving a little quick, but now the good news is I think tomorrow it's going to clear up. What this means is more rain, even if it just rains for another hour or 2 hours. It's going to be very difficult for this search and recovery. When I say search and recovery, it doesn't mean they're not looking for bodies alive. You know, a lot of times we listen to recovery. It means recovery like getting these cars out of there, these broken trees, these mobile homes. People, there is mobile homes that rised up to these RVs, big RVs, 22, 30 feet RVs, campers. And people that were there camping got washed away. They lost their lives, most of them. This gives you an indication. I was listening to one of the owners at the RV park. The tents, forget. But the people that, and the cabins, the water came up to the cabin, up to the windows as they were sleeping. Trump did make a statement. Donald Trump, President Trump, and I quote, because I read on I was reading comments, and Maribel was reading some comments, and the blame is on Trump. The blame is not on Trump or Biden. President Biden's administration has nothing to do with this. This was a weather problem. Trump did not take any money away from the meteorologist or anything like that. There was in this bill that has not officially been, I think it's been signed, but even so, in this bill, it was just going to be money from a lot of money from people that have YouTube channels. I applaud them, that are linked into the weather report. There's some indication on there that they might take away some of the funding, but not away from like CNN, Fox, Newsmax, News Nation, or any other news. He's not taking their jobs away. That is just simply fake. And Trump has made the comment, I have nothing to do with, or former President Biden. This is not anything to do with politics or Greg Abbott or anybody else. This was a bad storm, and the Weather Channel did the best they possibly can. Don't peek. And Maribel says, you're doing a great job, Don't Peek. We appreciate it. This was a storm that it stopped. So think of a black cloud, French fries. It's in your city, God forbid. And if it's happened anywhere else, say it happened in the afternoon or it happened in another area near this Guadalupe river, if it happened like in the city, yes, there would probably been some people getting hurt, destroyed that you can replace. But since it happened at a campsite, higher elevation, and it stopped and paused for 45 minutes to an hour. Again, if you're just coming in, this was a 100-year storm that 20 feet, not inches, think of snow, 25 feet of rain in just under an hour rising at this campsite. And by the way, again, for those who are just coming in for the first time and covering this, there was no cell phone at all. Maybe one bar. Now they need to fix this. We need to learn from this, but we can't blame anybody. We got to figure out how to get 4G up there, and T-Mobile, Verizon, and other networks. Maybe Texas there will try to get that done in this FEMA and money that goes their way as well. But this is not anybody, president, governor, police force, or even church leaders or anything like that. You can't blame anybody on this, because I'm hearing lots of blame, and it upsets me. Well, why didn't the church leaders disobey? Why didn't the church leaders listen? Ladies and gentlemen, the church leaders at the time, all was in the forecast was a rainstorm. Now that's up to you guys in the chat. I said this before. If I had grandkids or kids and I heard about a rainstorm or young ladies, just me, I probably said we postpone this year. But you can't just blame people for these decisions. It's horrible. They got enough problems and grieving. So now I'm going to get back into the news here and see if I can get some more coverage. And this will be the last live that I do tonight. Just one second.
.com to get started today. You can thank me later.
Brian, how are you? Good afternoon. Always good to see you, Brian. I'm going to try to get on to YouTube and see if I can get local Texas news. I think they're going to wrap this up. The search is still on, but with the rain coming, if you're just coming in, more rain, not as bad.
CNN
but
Central, weekdays at 7.
Still, it's going to make conditions worse. Hold on one second, guys.
Closed
Bear with me.
captioning
I'm trying to get some news coverage for you. You guys can interact among each other. Hey, I appreciate everybody being here for our second live. Wish I can bring better news. There was a news report that they found a little girl earlier. That's some good news. She was alive. But most cases, it's not good. More young ladies
Struggling with the ACT.
are
Boost
losing
your
life.
score.
Whoa, Crystal!
Guaranteed. Try it
My
free.
goodness,
5 days.
ladies and gentlemen, applaud to Crystal. And I know she doesn't want this. She just gifted 20 memberships on this station. And we could not have our success without our moderators, period. And Crystal Richmond coming in strong, and applaud her for 20 new members. And I hope the members are on here. And if you are, please, we got Josh and a couple members there coming, 20 members. If you are on here, make sure you get Crystal Richmond a big shout out, and you have a member for 1 month. And we do appreciate that, Rachel. Right? Crystal, excuse me, it's been a long day. And Isabel, appreciate you so very, very much. And if you are a member, you have a membership, and take fully advantage of that. And we will be doing do some more members only real soon coming up. So we're going to get back to the members, and for those who are supporting this channel, thank you so much, Crystal. Appreciate it. I'm trying to get some coverage here from the local news here, but I'm unable to. I think they are wrapping up things here. French Fry says, thank you very much. Josh says, love your streams. Keep paying it forward. I will, Josh. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. Yep. Yeah, don't peek. I just don't want to. I don't want to say it on this live. I'm trying not to make this political, at least on this particular coverage. Don't peek. I hope you don't mind. I don't want to come out and badmouth and make this politics on this live stream right now, only because it's so sad, and it's nobody's fault. As Trump says, it's not Biden's administration's fault at all. Or anybody else, or President Trump. So yeah, I don't want to. I'm trying not to make this political. The reporters asked Trump a very fair question. Crystal, thank you so much. You totally rock. I appreciate it. And Trump answered it. He says our prayers and thoughts are with the campsite, these young ladies. He's almost like in a tear, and he says, "This is not. I didn't have anything to do with it," he says, or Biden. He says, as far as the cutbacks on the weather, he says, there are some cutbacks. He didn't lie, but it's not even signed into law, and it doesn't mean cutbacks on like local area weather. Simply a false. It's just people that they're getting paid from the government on certain networks, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, and they're getting funding according to the Trump administration. But this has nothing to do with the price of eggs, price of gas, whatever. I'm using an example. This was just a bad storm. Unfortunately, took lives of young ladies and people in that area. So this is a time that we should grieve. And whoa, Crystal, stop it over here. Look at this. Crystal Richmond, whoa, 10 more memberships. A total, ladies and gentlemen, on this live of 30 gifted memberships. New members on here. And once again, Christopher Cooper, and my thing just froze here, or did it? Okay. Congratulations. That was a donation, a generous donation from Crystal and Isabel. We appreciate it. And once again, if you are gifted any memberships on this live stream or any other YouTube channels you watch, the people, and alluding to Crystal, thank you so much. We don't pick the names and say, hey, here's a membership for you, Joe. Here's a membership for you, Sal. These are just random memberships from the YouTube. And we just got another generous donation here. Thanks for what you do, brother. Oh, I appreciate it. Appreciate that very, very much. Vanilla Hunter, thank you. Very generous donation. And we will put that right in forward, pass it forward to the homeless area. And I also intend to, myself, me and Maribel are going to help out and give a little love back to the community of Texas. Now, they are getting a lot of help from Red Cross, boots on ground, and there's different websites on there if you want to help. And also, they're asking right now for people not to come there. I stated earlier on my live real quick, and thank you so much, Crystal. And thank you for that $5 donation behind Crystal's 30 memberships. They don't want people to come there right now until the storm is done. And when you do come there, they want you to sign in for a rescue. And so in an event something happens, they know how many bodies are out there. So, and they're also stopping the drones because they feel that if they have drones there with the drones they're using can cause a problem with the drones. So James Diamond was a member, and a bunch of members just came in. So, don't peek how you can help. You're doing right now, being a great, fantastic moderator, along with Crystal and Janine, Fabian, Lemon J, and just a few of the moderators who've been helping time to time. So you just sit back and be entertained. It's a sad entertain, but it's very sad. I'm going to go ahead and see one more time if I can get any more coverage, and I'll come back to you. I just want to see if there's anything new. I'm hoping that they can find. I'm still praying and hoping that they can find some young ladies out there
How
to
much
get
of
some
your
water.
home equity do you need to change your life? Well, it depends on how you want to use it.
It's very, very sad, guys.
It gives you cash.
Any way you look at it. So it looks like their live stream is completed. So I'm going to go back to a local news. I'm going to try CNN or Fox or one of the news outlets, because I thought I heard, let's see what we got. News Nation here. Hold on one second, guys.
Emergency declarations.
Oh, here we go. I got News Nation here. So we got some confirmation here. So now, unfortunately, oh God. So now it's 81 now. So Trump signs a disaster for declaration for Texas, as you can see.
And hopefully we can find more victims alive and increase the count of people.
And this is live, so you still have a helicopter inside. That's good news. There's the rescue.
On the ground there now in partnership with local, state, and federal resources. And we need to make sure that federal resources are always going to be there for communities that need it, because Kerr.
Thank you for the likes on this live stream. Thank you for this morning's live stream and new subscribers. We picked up about 180, 200 subscribers on last live stream. Appreciate that, guys. Look at this, guys. This is in some of the.
There for our fellow Americans.
Well, I'll just shut up for a minute.
And we have seen images of homes underwater, entire towns cut off. And
hello, Lemon J.
Overwhelmed local responders for sure. How much of this burden should the federal government be shouldering, and are they?
Well, we absolutely should be there when localities and states are dealing with emergencies beyond their capacity.
Hello, Lemon J. Hello, guys.
And obviously a once in 500-year flood like we saw, where it rose 26 feet in a very short period of time. That's the kind of emergency that is going to go beyond the capacity of this immediate community to handle, and that's when the federal government needs to be there to help. And we're in the middle of hurricane season, so we're going to see it in hurricane situations. In my community in the desert Southwest, you're going to see extreme heat.
You can see, I give you a little bit of indication on how fast. That's in fast speed, but look at that.
Go beyond the capacity of a
That's kind of crazy, and you got first responders and volunteers out there still. Hello, everybody. God bless you on this Sunday.
And for many years to come, people have to have the confidence that their fellow Americans are going to thrive.
So we have 81 now, sadly. I even hate to show that.
Is there bipartisan
81 now
appetite in Congress
deceased.
to strengthen FEMA before we move further into what you just mentioned, further into what's expected to be a brutal hurricane and wildfire
May
season?
God help them poor people. Yes.
Well, first,
Very, very
the
sad.
first responders, state, local, federal, are still on the ground in Kerr County trying desperately to find the missing people. And we hope as many as possible can be brought home safe to their families. The lady that was interviewed right before I came on, that had clung to a tree for days, more than one day, and was rescued alive. What an amazing,
Wow, that's good
amazing
news.
story. So all the focus needs to be on this immediate rescue mission. But there is going to be time afterwards to have this discussion about whether or not we need to make sure we have a fully functioning and well-resourced FEMA. That includes both not just after the fact actions by FEMA to help communities that have incurred an emergency, but also planning for emergencies to make sure that communities are well prepared and people know exactly what to.
I'm going to stop that for a minute and just talk for a second for the viewers who are just coming in. Once again, my name is Sal. Welcome in all new subscribers and all my moderators here. We'll stay live just for a little bit, guys. Right now, there's another storm that's on top of this massive storm that they just had on 4th of July morning at 4:30 in the morning. Right now, there's confirmed 81 have deceased. I believe children is 22. Little girls have lost their life. up to this Sunday here, 4th of July, Independence Day weekend. It's been confirmed. They found, you heard the news here, reporters saying they did find a girl hanging on a tree. There's many of good news that they found. The question is about the advance notice and what happened. What exactly happened and who's to blame? Well, simply, in my opinion, there's no blame. This is this Mother Nature. She's coming across. Why did this storm stop right there? God knows. You know, it stopped and it stayed. And you heard what he said. It was enough rain. What did he say? A lifetime. They said earlier 100 years. So think about a drought. You haven't had rain. So 100-year amount of rain, 25 feet of rain coming down in just 45 minutes. Sideways rain. And now in that area, there was no way to notify those church leaders, counselors, whatever you want to call them, and to notify them. And then when they did get notified, to a few, they had to get those poor girls out of the cabins or tents. And then there was people also vacationing in RVs, and they also lost their lives, a lot of them. So the question is, they did get notice, but by the time they got it and contacted them, only thing we can do is learn by this, and hopefully they can get better reception. And not just there in Texas, but elsewhere in other areas. Like we have a campsite here in Vegas that's hit and miss. So all we can do is work on our network and get better 4G, 5Gs up there. So in an event you have a lightning storm or tornado or anything like that, or in this case, a tropical, I'm going to call it like a tropical depression. And I'm not a meteorologist, because the way I understand is a storm will come in. You know how we get rain and a cloud will come in, you get heavy rain, and then it stops and it kind of moves out. Well, this just stopped for 45 minutes to an hour and hit this one area. Miles away, way I understand, all they got was a little bit of rain. And here you go up in this area where there's RVs that got washed away at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. This has nothing to do with politics, in my opinion, at all. There was no cutbacks. They asked Trump. He would not lie. He said it, and I quote, it was not his fault, his administration, or Biden's administration. It has nothing to do with the cup of tea. It has to do with just a very bad storm. Now, I want to get to something else, and we'll get back to the program. Search and recovery doesn't mean they gave up. Search and recovery means they're search and recovery on debris, trees, recovering, getting those trees so they could get in, the first responders and volunteers. The cars out, jaws of life, that is what search and recovery. They're not giving up in all means. In Texas, authorities and sheriff and Governor Greg Abbott, what they're doing is, congratulations on that membership, Jeff. If you were donated a membership, Crystal Richmond with a bang came in through, a loyal moderator and subscriber. What we do without some of you subscribers, I so appreciate it. Make sure you thank Crystal when you get a chance. When you get a chance, she's on here right now. And it was really nice to be a member. You're in green. You have a membership for 1 month. If you want to continue the membership, you could, or you could not next month. So it was very nice of Crystal Richmond helping out the and sponsoring this live today and many others' lives. So we're going to continue. So advance notice does not mean they're giving up. And I wouldn't be surprised that they would find another body or two, but there's still quite a few missing. Quite a few people in period missing. And the families want closure. They want to know if their daughter is alive or passed away. As Jeff just said, thank you, Crystal. So nice of you, and thank you for the memberships. And if you are new to this channel, we are live almost every day. I do take a break time to time, and the donations here, unless said not to, for directly to me and Maribel, 100% helps out the homelessness and fighting homeless here in Las Vegas metropolitan area. But back to this. So they're not postponing. They're still looking for bodies. They're still hoping. And this is nobody's, in my view, anybody's fault. I heard, let me read Ozzy here. I heard 40 more total. Wow. There's always homeless campsites. Yeah, I mean, these events can happen at any time. And unfortunately, now all we can do, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, is learn. What did we learn? Well, we learned that they didn't have good cell phone usage, right? So and that's not anybody's fault, right? This was a storm that comes like 100 years, like in Puerto Rico. Real quick, guys, let's rewind. Remember Hurricane Maria? They get hurricanes all the time, Puerto Rico, but not a Category 5. That's once in a lifetime. I mean, but there's probably going to be a storm like this again somewhere else. Chicken nuggets, hello. So we need to learn now to get our network together and get it up to those higher elevations in areas like North Carolina, here in Las Vegas, and certainly in Texas here at this campsite. I'm just looking here to see the update. Yeah, unfortunately, it's 81 deceased now total. And that's just very sad. Very, very sad. Heartbreaking. 100-year storm, 20 feet of rain in 45 minutes. It's just so sad. And it's just hard to take in every time I say the loss of lives. 3 months of rain now has become 20 feet of rain, 100-year storm. And you're wondering now what's going to take place on top of the storms they're receiving tonight. Let me just say this for the viewers that are coming in. There's another storm, but what I've listened to is the new storm that's there is nothing like they experienced on 4th of July morning hours at 4:30. But it is a front that's coming through that area, and it's going to make it difficult now. It's later hours there. It's going to get dark on how to find more bodies and to get more trees down with the rain, fighting the rain, and these drones to try to, fly into there, and with the rain and all the wind that's coming through. Let's hope that this front comes in very quickly and gets out let's just pray and hope that this storm that's coming in right now, it's stopped. And maybe it's already stopped. I don't know. I'm going to listen back in. Let's listen in a little bit more what they have to say here on this news broadcast.
When hurricanes come or major floods come or other natural disaster emergencies, the better planning we do in advance, then the less impact is going to happen on these communities. So I'm obviously a strong supporter of a well-resourced FEMA. I think we owe it to our fellow Americans to have that in place.
They're discussing the FEMA now.
Congressman Greg Stanton, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as we go to break, we continue to follow the heartbreak in Hill Country. At least 81 people confirmed dead.
81.
And many more still missing tonight. At least 10 young girls remain unaccounted for after vanishing from that Christian summer camp in Hunt, Texas. And one grandfather came very close to losing his 5 beloved granddaughters.
And a week ago,
A grandfather here.
Camp Mystic, I had 5 granddaughters in Camp Mystic.
Yeah, Ozzy, God bless them, huh? Kudos to those people searching. You're right.
Now, but
Coming up will be the grandfather. We'll listen to the grandfather.
some of their friends were there for the second session, and my heart goes out to all those little girls.
So we'll listen in to him in a little bit. They're on a break. For those who are coming in, there's another front storm there in that area of the campsite in Texas, the Christian camp that happened at 4:30 in the morning. I understand that this front, according to the meteorologists from CNN and other Weather Channel, they're all pretty much accurate saying that this storm is going to be not as bad, not even close, but there's going to be some rain and heavy rain. What's that mean? Well, that means it's going to be harder for search and rescue and possibly finding these bodies that could be alive. I'm still hoping they can find more bodies. There's a grandfather who's going to come in. I guess he was very fortunate that his grandkids were okay. So many of these young ladies, it's been a tradition, what I understand, for many years to go to the summer camp. And it breaks my heart when people are pointing fingers and blaming government and also these church leaders. It's not their fault. It really isn't. You can't blame the parents. It wasn't like they were putting them in front of a tornado, or it's not like they knew this storm was coming and they just got rid of their children, right? This was just an act of Mother Nature. We don't have the answers. One day we'll know. Not to make everybody sad. We just don't understand on how this happened, but it was interesting listening to Weather Channel earlier, how they were explaining that the storm was a young meteorologist, so smart. And he says what happens, it's like a tropical depression. So the cloud, think of a very dark black cloud like my shirt coming in. Most of the time it would rain, light rain, heavy rain, and leave and continue. And this stopped. And when it stopped for the 45 minutes to an hour, just dumped enough rain of 100 years. I just can't comprehend that. And 25 feet. And they were interviewing an RV owner, a woman, and it's not her fault either. And she says, we did the best we can. It happened so quick. And these RVs and trailers were washed right into the river. Imagine, you're in there, you're sleeping, you wake up, you feel water, and you look out, and you have minutes, if not seconds, to make a decision. What do you do? What do you do? Like, well, most of us, what do you do? I mean, you panic, right? A lot of people would panic. And even if you don't panic, where do you go? On the roof of the RV? And, well, some did. And a few did make it, but most did not. And they got washed into the Guadalupe, hopefully I keep saying that right, Guadalupe Lake or river. And that's where we stand on this Sunday. This will be the last live this evening. And I'm hoping that tomorrow or this morning or later on, this will be our last live, but hoping that the rescue can find, wouldn't that be great to find some young ladies? I'm waiting to hear from this grandfather. Some made it. Some young ladies made it and others didn't. So now the problem is they're trying to figure out who else was up there. They know the people that were renting these RVs or who had these RVs, they know who they are because they have to pay by the pay slip, right? So they know that. But what about like people who are up there possibly just in the area camping or hiking? I'm saying that I haven't heard that. Could that be another 10 to 20 people that are up there possibly alive and possibly deceased? So they're also rescuing those. And also too, guys, let me just say this. These are little girls and bodies and human. There's also animals that are they found. A lot of them are alive and some are deceased, and they're holding those animals in there for people to rescue them as well. This was earlier. I don't know if you've heard it. It's Greg Abbott. Well, I'll let you listen in a little bit. This was about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. Greg Abbott.
Broadly in these regions, the Big Country, Concho Valley, Central Texas, and once again, Kerrville.
All right, that was Governor Greg Abbott there saying there is still stormy weather.
Bodies of
hard-hit parts of
7 missing people found in California fireworks warehouse exploded. I heard about that. Is it 7, Crystal? Wow, I thought I heard only 2 or 3. 7.
Federal support into these impacted areas. Correspondent Jackie Capel is live at the White House with more on that. Jackie.
Horrible.
Good evening, Brian. Well, President Trump addressing reporters just a short time ago as he prepared to return to the White House, saying he would probably visit the devastated flood areas of Texas on Friday.
All the bodies were found in the fire. Wow, that increased pretty rapidly too as well, Crystal. Thanks for sharing that.
Said that the area would get the support
more sad
that it
news.
needs.
This is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch. This was the thing that happened in seconds. Nobody expected it. Nobody saw it. Very talented people are there, and they didn't see it. It's, I guess they said, once in 100 years, they've never seen anything like this.
News Nation has learned this is still considered a rescue and recovery mission. Texas Governor Abbott
there will
saying
also
that
be
local,
gators
state,
in that
and
part of
federal
Texas.
search
Wow.
teams are operating 24/7.
That I did
using
not
green units,
know.
helicopters, drones, and more. Now, in terms of federal resources, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says that emergency management have been deployed, reiterating that state and local authorities will have all the support that they need. And the Federal Emergency Management Agency, known as FEMA, has now been activated and will help with the recovery. Brian?
Yeah, you mentioned the helicopters. There's one going over us right now. We've seen Army helicopters. We've seen Coast Guard.
John, welcome in. They only predicted 4 to 6 inches of rain.
All right,
That was originally reported. You're right, John. I heard that.
For at least 10 little girls who remain missing tonight from Camp Mystic.
10 little girls are still missing on this hour.
In Hunt, Texas, totally wiped out by the catastrophic flooding early Friday. The impact being felt by folks miles away, as well as those living in the surrounding communities.
It's killing me, and I know
Neil 111, how are you? Thank you for the membership.
Who actually stayed at our house right before she went to be her first year counselor. She was one of the people that grabbed the
Chicken Nugget, have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Floated away, and the kid floated away. She grabbed a tree. I don't know what happened to the kid, but it's killing me. It's killing me.
I thought the grandfather was going to talk.
When you need a lift, you could use a big...
Well, you heard Trump. So somebody said that originally 3 to 6 inches, and that's what it's going around, right? 3 to 6 inches according to the meteorologist and weather forecast. So, but it changed. It just changed, and these I'm not going to say a mistake. Weather changes, and how many times I've said this earlier in my broadcast. How many times you hear about you're going to get 20 feet of rain, you're going to get 10 inches, or a major hurricane's going to hit, and it's a tropical depression and it's not as bad, or you're only going to have a category 1 and it's category 5. And in this case, these things change. Weather changes, and it's just sad that people will point fingers at government and church leaders and parents. It's upsetting to me, in my opinion. 6 inches is still a lot of rain. Yeah, it really is. It really is. But the warnings were there, and I guess the big $1 million question is this. I'll just say this. Should they have just contacted, and say close it down? I don't have the answers. That's up to you guys to discuss. I already said if it was my grandkids, and as Ozzy alluded to there, 3 inches, 6 inches, and they're going to go to this campsite for 4 nights. I don't know. I probably would say, I know it's easy to say afterwards, I probably would say, no, let's pass this year. But again, maybe this rained up there before. And the thing is, guys, is this river the amount of water just rise so quickly. This is like Moses when he was told to build a boat, and the rain just happened, and it happens too fast. Yeah, exactly. We just don't know why these things can happen. Sometimes events happen, and you can point fingers at government. And in this event, I don't know how you can blame anybody, any Democrat or Republican or anybody or church leaders. It just happens. Noah, yeah, it was Noah. So this is day 3 of this search and recovery. And if you're just coming in the chat, when I say search and recovery, they're not stopping looking. According to Greg Abbott and the sheriff, we're not stopping. We're not going to stop. But we are going to do a search and recovery as far as getting these cars and debris and trees away so they can get into that area and hopefully find a little girl or an adult or somebody there. You heard him say 10 girls. They don't give any ages, but 10 young ladies in this church summer camp are still missing on this Sunday afternoon, late evening hours there, early evening hours in Texas campsite. So let's hope some better news comes out. We'll talk about it tomorrow a little bit more. I like to hear what I like to hear some positive stuff. Sound like the grandfather's grandkids were fine. I think they skipped over that, or maybe he's coming up. Here's some breaking news. Let's see what we got here. Hold on.
Devastating situation continues to unfold here. Authorities now say that 81 people have been killed after severe flash floods unexpectedly.
Randy, how are you? Christine, how are you?
Destroyed the lives of so many.
Always good to see you, Christine.
41 more people remain unaccounted for right now, including 10 girls from Camp Mystic. It's a summer camp that
Camp
wiped
Mystic,
out
guys.
by
That's the camp
early
name.
Friday morning. And right now, millions of Texans, they are under new flash flood warnings as thunderstorms continue to increase this afternoon here in Texas.
Ardell, how
See
are
these
you? Good to
photos.
see
These
you.
are just
Good to see you.
heartbreaking, taken from inside the cabins at Camp Mystic. Just this
Cabin is still on
destruction
site
from this
at
weekend's
Mystic
flooding.
Camp. No little girls left there.
21 children
Their belongings
were
are
killed,
there.
swept away
Thank you,
when
Lemon J,
floodwaters
for that
overtowed the all-girls
updated
summer
sad
camp.
news there.
The
Thank you
camp
so much.
located right along the Guadalupe River.
Guadalupe.
As you can see in this video, you see
Guadalupe
just how
River.
quickly the water rose. Breathtaking. Look at that. Just in minutes, the water was up. As we go to break, Texans and Hill Country oscillating between heartbreak and hope in the wake of catastrophic flooding.
I just got reports about 15 minutes ago that two, I believe they were 8-year-old girls, were found high up in about 15 to 20 feet up in a tree just south of Center Point, Texas. And that was, I say I got that call about 45 minutes ago.
Wow.
So that we did just find 2 alive, and then I do know that 2 were found near one of the parks and deceased recently too.
Wow.
So the hope should not be given up, the prayer should not be given up. There are kids out there. I mean, just like Governor Abbott said, he couldn't have worded that better.
Mother Nature is strong.
Those kids are alive.
Yeah, Judge, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend.
Takes away that urgency of needing to find them immediately, even if it's just for closure for their parents.
Very, very sad times. But a lot of these people, a lot of these parents and grandparents want closure. They want to know,
30 wishes, not 30.
is there any kind of chance that their granddaughter or father or mother are alive in these conditions? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. So we'll have to just wait and see as the rescue will continue. Now, I haven't heard anything about any more rain. So maybe that front that just came in this evening or an hour ago is cleared out a little bit, and hopefully they can continue their rescue and get some closure and finding some bodies, hopefully alive, or at least get some closure to the families. Imagining now waiting 3 days and some found, some aren't. It's got to be very difficult for the grandparents and parents in this situation. But again, so let's see here. A lot of misinformation going on. It's not right. I have full construction crew in the Hill, Kirk County right now, and boots on ground. Well, thank you for the boots on ground. Yeah, a lot of boots on grounds. What I heard is they are looking for volunteers, but right now they don't want a lot of people there, and because they don't want it to be too crowded. And if you do volunteer, and thank you for anybody who is volunteering, to make sure that you sign in and register so they know who's accountable for those who are out there rescuing in these conditions. As I think it's still raining, but it looks like they're looking ahead at the weather, and hopefully tomorrow it clears out and it gets better and they can get in and get through the debris and find out where those people are. So let's just hope that they can get to search and rescue and get this bodies recover. What a sad time, amount of rain, and hopefully what we can learn, if you're just coming in, what we can learn from in the future is, the only thing I can say is work on getting better network. And even if they did have communication, let's just say for an example, they were able to, hey, hello, call, and got that word out, there were still been hard times getting those people out because of the time at 4:30 in the morning. If it was in the afternoon, still would have been pretty bad in my mind, but not as bad as 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's the stuff. Unfortunately, these storms they come, and sometimes we can predict them, sometimes we can't. So it's just so sad, and hopefully though they can find some more bodies, and maybe they're alive, because miracles do happen. I believe that miracles can happen. And there was. You heard them say they found a young lady in the tree. They found some others, but most of those RVs and those cabins, as Lemon J alluded to, were destroyed because of the amount of water. 25 feet of water in just 45 minutes, according to all reports. Somewhere in that area, 25 feet, 30 feet, 20 feet, and 45 minutes to an hour. Imagine that much rain. Imagine We've all been fishing in creeks and rivers or river rafting. Imagine when a front comes in, it's just a little front, and you've seen the river rise. You know, imagine, and you're probably doing it during the daytime. Imagine this at night sleeping. That's the biggest dilemma. Oh, here we go. I think we're back here to some news here. And we lost our volume here. Let's see, here we go. Oh, here we go. Sorry.
News Nation is on the ground in the Lone Star State.
Here we go.
Tracking the very latest.
Red Katie lost her daughter Nene, Mercy's friend, and
Here's some interviews
the other
here.
families that we've just been praying for nonstop.
I don't know how you're gonna find somebody in all this mess, you know? Especially a tiny baby.
Well, I have my best friend from camps is staying at my house with her family because she's away.
Absolutely, Lemon J. Absolutely.
Child. She has a 7-year-old.
Everybody's gifted and has their own way on helping, so that's good to see. We need more of these.
Dispatched to find those
When you have tragedies like this, I wish people could live in everyday society,
24/7
get together, you know.
Is found. Already over 850 people rescued from the floodwaters.
850
Some
rescued,
survivors
okay.
found clinging to trees.
Here we go.
Others climbing to their roofs, praying the rising water wouldn't reach them. Among the missing, little girls from Camp Mystic, a beloved riverside summer camp, the epicenter of destruction. The water rising there more than 20 feet in less than an hour.
Wow.
As torrential rains came down
Crazy.
on the 4th of July.
Martella, how are you?
The severe weather threat is not over.
He just said evacuate.
New evacuations ordered.
Yeah, very
Flash
sad.
flood warnings still in effect across central Texas.
There are dangers over the next 24 to 48 hours that could pose public safety threats.
We have the minute-by-minute updates out of Texas Hill Country.
Live from News Nation headquarters, this is News Nation Prime.
Good evening and thank you for staying with us. I'm Brian Enton. Right now, millions of Texans under new flash flood warnings as we continue to follow the heartbreak in Hill Country.
I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you're doing well.
81 people, 28 of them we have learned are children. There are many more missing tonight as the unrelenting search for at least 10 little girls who remain missing from Camp Mystic continues tonight. The summer camp in Hunt, Texas was totally wiped out by the flooding early Friday. President Trump saying he signed a major disaster declaration for hard-hit Kerr County. The president also
And that was signed today, guys, or yesterday, excuse me.
many are clinging to hope here in the wake of unsurmountable tragedy.
Just say this is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch.
That was Trump voicing his comments, and very sad for all of us.
I had the opportunity yesterday to visit Camp Mystic and get to see firsthand what happened there, as well as all the way downstream after that. And it was nothing short of horrific to see what those young children went through.
I think
Look at that tree, guys. I mean, it took that tree. It was. Here you go. Here's the grandfather.
deep and desperate as the days goes on.
Did you guys see that tree? Amazing on how it took that tree. And that wasn't a tornado. That's just
Watching
the rapid speed of the water.
we came out as quick as we
Crazy,
could
isn't
to
it?
help search, hopefully to find people that are still alive. You know, I've got 2 babies at home. It's the least I could do. You know, they're home safe, and there's people out there that they're missing their children or their family members. So I feel like it's the least I could do to help.
Very nice. So a lot of people there trying to help the best they possibly can in their own little way. And that's what people do in these tragedies. They come together.
I believe there are 8-year-old girls were found high up in about 15 to 20 feet up in a tree. just south of Center Point, Texas. So we did just find 2 alive, and then I do know that 2 were found near one of the parks who are deceased recently too. So hope should not be given up. The prayer should not be given up. There are kids out there.
A tragic situation here. We have team coverage tonight. I want to start with my colleague Xavier Walton, who is in Hunt,
Let's see if we get
Texas,
some updated
where,
news here.
The little girls vanished into the night, and dedicated first responders are stopping at nothing to find them. What's the latest there, Xavier?
Yeah, Brian, that's exactly right. In fact, in the last 15, 20 minutes or so, we actually watched overhead. This is the first time we'd seen one, a Chinook fly by, and then we just watched about 15, 20 utility trucks, a whole caravan go by as well. But this is the scene really as you
Absolutely,
hear
Ardell.
Texas,
Never give up on the kids or any.
Miles away from Camp
Never
Mystic.
give up.
Look at all this debris. And then on the other side, you got the Guadalupe River.
Tonight, with every passing hour, officials say time is running out to rescue any survivors. Hundreds of volunteers from across the state searching.
It's really, really.
Shout out to the volunteers, huh?
Think about those girls.
What's going through your head right now?
Amen, Ricky.
Captain James Gilmartin getting choked up. He says his team recovered the body of a 14-year-old boy on the banks of the Guadalupe River.
The good thing about being able to recover somebody is now their family can get some closure.
Local, state, and federal
Exactly.
resources working together to do the same.
We have some unidentified individuals at the funeral home, adults and juveniles. The Texas Rangers are collecting DNA from family members and from the deceased victims, and we're flying those to the University of North Texas. in
Anything's
Dallas.
possible, Ardell.
And we will have
Anything's
answers
possible. I've
within
seen
the
miracles
DNA
before and
in hours,
tragedies,
not
and
days.
anything's possible.
high the water rose.
Andrea Fell says her son is one of the lucky ones.
He stood there for about 3 hours, holding onto the meter box, and he started talking with a guy somewhere in a tree, and he asked him, he said, where'd you come from? And he told him that he was
Yeah, Lynette.
up the river, and he and his buddy got swept away.
You're
and
exactly
got
right.
separated.
Randy, yes.
I swam through the window and then I climbed up there. What's going through your head? I just gotta survive.
So as those searches continue, obviously we're starting to hear, more survival stories. The window that young man actually floated out of is just behind me.
Chewy, welcome to the membership. Welcome to the membership. Appreciate you. Crystal just donated, our loyal subscriber moderator, 30 memberships. So thank you for your comment. Appreciate you.
Stay, the more remarkable they become.
Hey, I live in Hill County. Oh, you live there, huh? So, someone there says, hi, I live in the Hill Country. What are you hearing there? Anything we haven't? Crystal there, Chewy just says, thank you very much for the membership. What are you hearing there if you live there in that area or near that area? Anything that we're missing here?
This happened so quickly that I guess there was nothing they could do.
Anything that we...
Brian, that's the unfortunate thing about it. I mean, not a single person that I've spoken to said they had any idea it was going to be this bad. Then you factor in the timing, when it happened, the middle of the night, some people already getting ready to go to sleep, waking up to their floors, their houses, essentially.
Brandon Whitmore, thank you for the 4 months of membership. God be with those who are in need. Brandon, thank you so much. Appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you so much for that membership. Appreciate you, my friend.
Campers just sleeping in those cabins 2, 3 in the morning, had no idea until the water started rising. It's terrible.
And you can see there, Chewy Crystal give you a big heart. And our pleasure.
In the face of such tragedy, one mother extremely grateful tonight as her 2 sons, who are at Camp La Junta in Hunt, Texas, during the terrifying flooding are back home and safe in her arms. And there's so many families that are feeling this.
So you see there on the bottom there, 850 rescued from the Texas flooding waters.
During the floods joins me live now. I mean, Kelly, you have your boys with you tonight. Oh my gosh, it's heartwarming to see. What happened at their camp? What did they go through?
I'll tell you, I've been holding them extra tight, counting the freckles on those faces for sure. When I got a text on Friday morning that there had been a flood. We didn't really know how serious that was or was not. And, then a few hours later, another text saying no power, no phone. And we were at that point really, really wondering what in the world.
Ardell, it's gonna be a lifetime challenge for these
so
kids.
As I was checking the news, it became
every time it rains,
really quickly.
when they go to a camp,
this was a dire situation.
they're gonna have to live with this. Prayers that they recover.
4 hours away
it's gonna be a while.
Hunt, where Camp La Junta is. I just mama instincts kicked
For
in,
Sal and
and I knew I
Maribel
wanted to go.
from Isabel with the bang of $50 donation. Crystal, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Crystal. Please, thank you so very much. Appreciate all your support. Brandon, once again, thank you. For Sal and Maribel, appreciate Brandon coming in. Appreciate your super chat as well. Thank you so much. Hey Sal, great content. You're the man. Thank you. No, I appreciate you guys. I cannot do it without you guys. Thank you so much, Brandon, for that continued membership, as well as Crystal throwing in the bang. Crystal, I love you. Thank you so very much to help us support the homeless. In this case, help us continue and sponsoring this live. Could not do it without each and every one of you. Thank you so much, so we can continue these lives, bring up to date as best we possibly can on these sad situations. Unfortunately, this is very sad, but hopefully we get some closure for the parents, and hopefully, as Ardell says, we can have some miracles. And there's a lady with her 2 boys. So that's good. Why do these things happen? We just don't know. One day we will. But Isabel says love to Uncle Sal and Aunt Maribel. And Aunt Maribel right now is with Glorabel watching a movie. She needed to get out. It was getting to her a little bit. So Isabel, thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. You rock. High five, fist bump. Lords of the Ring, I think she's watching or something.
Oh my gosh.
Maribel had to get away. She just couldn't hear anymore. It's hard for people,
All the way up in the
Very
rafters.
difficult to hear these stories.
As a kindergartner, just imagine climbing onto the top.
Doggies are barking in the background there. Thank you, Janine. Thank you. Appreciate you. So I see a lot of new subscribers and older subscribers and great donations here. Appreciate you so much, Crystal.
Give the dog a little attention.
So these kids made it.
So what happened once you got up into the rafters, or I don't know the story?
Thank God.
You, did they have to wait up in the rafters, or what happened next?
That's the mom there.
Yes. So here, Rocky, come here. So then what happened? What happened? You were so grateful that his camp counselors were able to.
Better love on the kids.
Okay,
while you can. Ozzy so well said, and
camp director who was absolutely.
I'll just pause this for a second. That's a great comment. That's it. I mean, so well said. You got to put your arms around your kids, your grandkids, your husband, your wife, your partners. There's no guarantee, and a lot of times the blaming comes into play and sometimes there is blame on certain events, right? But on this, it's just. We just don't have an answer. One day we'll know. But yeah, spend time as much as you can. I always say this, or most of the time, always spend time with yourself and your kids, your family. If you don't have any kids, your wife, yourself, because there's just no guarantee when these horrific, like tragedies, in this case, the Mother Nature. So it doesn't mean stop living, but take the time out and tell them you love them, and put your arms around them and that kind of stuff. And that's all we can do as parents, as brothers and sisters, and all of us on here. And, try not to get wrapped around too much into the social media. And I thank you so much. And try to spend some quality time the best you possibly can with your loved ones. And that's all we can do. But I'm also optimistic that they're going to find some more. I really am, as Ardell says, and I hope that they will. and hopefully they can learn a little bit about this, and we can continue. They can continue on the best they can. Tragedy here. Hearing this lady here, she was one of the fortunate ones, I guess. Here
helped to get every one of you guys out into safety. Is that right?
Yeah.
But then you still had to go to a higher up cabin like Braden's.
Yeah. Yeah, but
You went to a different cabin. But then, so Braden, what happened when kids came to your cabin too?
she's talking about the cabins here.
Their cabin flooded, and all of their stuff was either floating around or in the river by now.
Paylon, how are you? Good to see you on here.
Oh my gosh.
But we just sat there for like 9 hours with the other cabin, but in total I stayed up for like, I don't know, for like 30.
Sorry to hear that, Ardell, and you have to live through them. May they rest in peace. I know I'm right there with you with my father and my brother.
Yeah,
So
fact, I mean, thankfully the counselors got them up in the rafters, and you just think about these other families and how much worse it could have been. So Kelly, I'm so glad your family's okay.
So there's
I appreciate
you
guys coming.
a
on
mother
tonight.
who
Thank
was
you so
very
much.
fortunate, and
Your whole community's in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. And we send all of our love and thoughts and prayers to all of the families who are hurting. Just we pray that those precious girls are found.
I think our signal was. I still hear. Sorry, your signal was breaking up a little. I'm just so glad that they're okay. It's think of all the.
Yes, Lemon J. Read that comment, everybody. I heard that Kirk County had to plan to install flood warnings and sirens. They didn't get it done. National Weather Service. Yeah.
Kirk County, but at least 4 deaths have also happened nearby in Travis County. Several others are still missing there.
Yeah, I saw that too, Lemon J.
Grace Reader gives us an on the ground.
I'm going to pause that for a second. Let's discuss that comment. Thank you for Lemon J. I was going to bring that up. I really was, but you get caught up into the comments and moving along. Very difficult, but thank you, Lemon J. In Puerto Rico and other states, and Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. territory, when they have a hurricane on the south side of the island in Ponce or anywhere in Puerto Rico, there's a large siren that'll go off, woo, and really loud, and it'll go on, and it goes off and on, and then the worse, the more information they get in Puerto Rico as far as a hurricane category 2 or 3, it's louder, and you get those people and the first responders off the beach in Puerto Rico and other states too. So hopefully Texas can work on a system going forward on that. Yeah, I did hear that. And maybe, just maybe, it would have woke them up and they had a fighting chance. So, let me see here. Sorry. All right. They said that this is the most flood. They said that this is the most flood-prone area in the state. Wow. I did not hear that, but yeah, I mean, we're witnessing that. And it had to happen right there. Again, if this would have went about 30 miles away, it would have still been devastated, some damage, but probably not as bad. That's good information there moving forward, as Ozzy just put on that last comment, guys. There, most flood-prone area in the state, in that area there, Guadalupe Lake. A river, excuse me. I'm sure they will look to see if they can do something better. Yeah, that's all you can do, guys. When we have these tragedies, what can we learn from that as the government, as city officials, and residents, and the meetings and town hall meetings? They're going to be discussed on how the hell we can try to make things better. We can't predict, we can't prevent Mother Nature. But how can we make it better? How long have these camping areas been there? Has it happened before? That's a great question, Terry. Does anybody know? I know this, Terry. I've heard multiple times that one lady says her grandma's been going there, and her great-grandmom, I think she said like 50 years. So this has been something that the church that this particular church was going there. So at least 50 years. I don't know if anybody else who lives in that area can share anything output on that, but at least 50 years, I'm going to say. 40 years. So 40 years. So sometimes we learn the hard way. The roof doesn't leak until it rains. Yeah. Yeah. Amen. Amen. And that holds true to each and every one of us, and in our own homes and decisions. So hopefully they'll get sirens. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're going to have sirens. I'm sure they're going to figure out how other states and countries do it. I think even California does, and have these sirens like they do in event of an earthquake or a tornado or stuff like that. So hopefully they can learn, and going forward, to prevent this from ever happening again. It's a shame. These little girls had a whole life ahead of them. Now they're saying, what, 21, 22? Different news channels, 21, 22 little girls have lost their lives, and a total of 78 to 80 have deceased. And there's great first responders out there fighting out there each and every hour it goes by. The summer camps started in 1926 from Lemon J. She just looked that up. Summer camps have started since 1926. Wow. So I can see why there wouldn't have been as much concern. Makes sense. Yeah, again, they said a couple inches of rain for those who are coming in. This is my opinion. A storm that wasn't predicted to hit this area, this campsite, and this lake, Guadalupe Lake. It wasn't supposed to go right there. And finally, when they got the correct information, they only had about an hour or less to forward that information to the people, to the headquarters and the police department, and get that information as fast as they can up there in that area. And they did at that time, but it was just a little too late, unfortunately. And but some made it out and have been rescued, 850. So you heard that lady there, but most of those people that are in cabins and RVs were totally destroyed. And now the search and recovery is on to get the debris and try to find possibility some of these lives that could be up there. As Ardell says, there's always a miracle, and I believe in that too. But more rain that's coming down. I haven't heard them on News Nation saying anything about heavy rain. So, all right, we need more defunding these. Trump defunded. Now that comment there, defunded. Now Trump did talk about defunding the. There was no money that Trump said he did not touch any of the money to any. The bill didn't even go into signed in that. There was a bill that was going to cut back on some of people that have local channels that were getting government assistance through the weather, but there was no cutbacks at all. So that's simply false. This is nobody's blame. He also stated, in quote, Trump says it wasn't his administration's fault or even the recent administration with Biden. Again, if you're just coming in, it's not anything to do with that. And we just discussing a few things that can help going forward. All right. So I know someone who was fired from the deputy. Yeah, I mean, I can't confirm that. I'm sure there's going to be some people might lose their jobs over this. I'm sure they're going to try to blame. The blame is going to go back and forth, maybe from local sheriff department all the way to local news. I mean, it would be, in my opinion, be a shame if somebody would, it's just my opinion, lose their job over this because they didn't get it out in time. And going by what they're reading on the weather map. I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. So we should cut weather service more. No, I'm not saying that. You're saying that. I didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about. And I just discussed that. All right, let's get back to the program. There hasn't been, Trump already announced there hasn't been any cuts, anything that interfered with this this storm. It was a bad storm.
Travis County and its residents.
Here in Travis County, at least 4 people are dead, and the search continued today for people who are still missing, including in Leander, one of the harder hit parts of western Travis County. Homes wiped off their foundations, cars and trees. Parts of western Travis County, including the southern tip of Leander, devastated by floods this weekend. Crews are still searching for missing people.
My car floated off. We still haven't found it. And then we watched our neighbors in their double wide float past us with their whole family in the house.
This family says they're lucky to be alive after being swept away while trying to escape in this truck.
Bumped into the trailer and then ended up, you'll see our truck right here, up against the tree. My dad got me out. I climbed the tree. He handed my daughter to me. And then we sat in that tree for about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Just a few streets down, a list of people who may still be missing posted at the front of the Round Mountain Baptist Church.
Greatest need is information. People they just want to know what's going on. They want to know where their loved ones are.
The church is serving as a makeshift meeting place for this community near Sandy Creek and for crews still searching on Sunday.
When you're on Facebook and you see devastation like this, or on social media and you see devastation like this, it's so easy to scroll past. But when it's in your
Hello, Dana. How are you?
Scrolling past it.
Despite the devastation,
Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. Eric, how are you?
The community works to piece itself back together.
Leander at its best. No two ways about it. Community supporting community.
Fire officials told me that when they were responding to some of these calls, it was really difficult to get to these people because water was flowing over roads, was stopping them from returning back to fire stations. Reporting from Travis County, I'm Grace Reeder, News Nation.
Okay, and I want to welcome now Jason Pack. He's a former FEMA public information officer and former FBI agent.
Absolutely,
Ozzy.
Both Ozzy's there back to back.
Thank you for being with us. You've worked at major American disasters, including Katrina. Where do you think things stand now? I mean, there's been a lot of helicopter activity behind us. The current is still too strong for boats to go in the water. But do you think there's the possibility that people could still be rescued at this point?
I think absolutely there is. As Governor Abbott says, it's still a search and rescue operation. I know as a first responder, the last call you ever want to get is involving a child, and now you're faced with 21 of these calls at once, and there was more. But just think of those 800 and so rescues that have already happened.
I have one too, Terry. You know what's funny, Terry? I didn't bring it with me camping. My wife says, why didn't you bring that? Because we had a storm there that developed when I was camping, Terry, and I didn't bring it with me. I just got the gift for Father's Day, and I didn't bring it.
Of bravery coming from these camp counselors, as you had your guests in the last piece there, those 2 little ones and their mom.
Carol, the nice lady, welcome in. Yes, our prayers are, much prayers are needed tonight.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency now, after President Trump signed that disaster declaration, opened up the federal resources. So while the focus is on
I'm going to start using mine.
Rescue, there are also other things going on behind the scenes.
Particularly when I go camping.
Centers. The way that they
look at this, I
these
just
things
can't.
Is something called incident command. Every first responder takes these classes right when they sign up to be a first responder. It's one of the first things you do. That way, when you show up to a disaster, everyone knows how the playbook is supposed to be and somewhat would know your roles through what's called emergency support functions. Those search and rescue functions are paramount now, but you have functions within all types of government there that are able to do anything. You've got people looking at infrastructure. You've got people looking at
the nice security guard was, I quote, was able to rescue many campers at Mystic there from our loyal subscriber, Lemon J. Thank you for sharing that, Lemon J. So, you know, there's great
it seems like
stories like that that need to be told. And
Jason, that there is now another flood watch, and even now.
Yeah, here they're talking about the next flood watch.
A little bit, even since we've been standing.
Problem is, you're going to get more rain.
That's obviously something
on top
that
of
these
this
first responders
river
have to take into account as they're trying to continue to find people.
For sure. You have to keep your eye to the sky and take the watches and warnings seriously. And usually in these types of disasters, they are in close coordination with meteorologists that they have on staff there. Usually these shifts will start with a weather briefing and then operational priorities. Likely, they have 2 operational briefings a day talking about what their goals are. And it seems like from everything we've heard that the goals are search and rescue still. So It seems probably likely that the evening shift is coming on. We'll still see these air operations go 24/7.
So there you have it, guys. So they're not going to give up.
In the water right now.
850 rescued.
Engineers to
Good
see,
story with that
what the
security
currents
guard
are.
from Lemon J. 850 rescued from Texas flooding. Miracles can happen. Parents can, grandparents can have some closure. There's some great stories. You witnessed that mom with the two boys, and that was some good news there. But continue going forward, guys. Like everybody said, maybe they could have some sirens. First, better adding some 4G, 5Gs in that area and other areas too. And that's all we can do is learn from this. Very sad. 3 days now of this, and touching stories that we're hearing. You know, hug your kids, hug your grandkids. But these kids who did make it are they're never going to forget this. They're going to always remember this rain. Again, if you're just coming in, we're coming to a conclusion here. There's a search and recovery, but not what you're thinking. They're not stopping, looking for these young children or adults that might be there. It's just a search and recovery for getting debris, cars, and so they can get in there and get the volunteers and people that are helping out. And I pray for the volunteers that are out there and hoping that people can be like this all the time, right? Helping your neighbors and helping out in these tragedies. Why did these happen? Who knows? But this wasn't anybody's fault. Certainly not Donald Trump's fault. It wasn't Biden's fault. This is Mother Nature, where a storm just came to this area, stopped, downpour rain, flooded, and there was no chance for a lot. And some made it out. So, again, a summer worth of rain in 45 minutes. I'll repeat. A summer worth of rain in Texas in just 45 minutes. And that rain had nowhere to go to that river, overflowed, and just took down, wiped out RVs, cabins, tents, or whatever human being was up there. And that's what happened in this situation. But let's pray tonight and this evening that there's some closure. They can find bodies alive. And that's all we can hope for. I'm Sal. Thank you for Crystal. If you're still here, thank you so much from you and Isabel. And that huge donation and those members. And thank you for all new memberships. I will bring you tomorrow. We will be live and hoping that I can come on or you guys can read some information, hoping that some good news and they can find some more people alive and young children alive. That's all we can hope for. But I will see you. Thank you all very much for your support and your donations on this live. Crystal, thank you once again. Thank you, everybody. And make sure you continue supporting other YouTube channels when you can. Like and support. And I will bring you up to date on future live videos. I will see everybody tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If you're off for a few more days, enjoy it the best you can. Have fun. And I will see you guys on the next live. God bless everybody. God bless. Love your loved ones. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. God bless. I'll see you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lemon J. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Be safe.